Hello, this is John Hoffs. It is Sunday, April 12th, 2020, Easter Sunday. It is the 12th day out of the 30 days to slow the spread of the coronavirus. That means we have 18 days to go, which would make it 3 weeks from now. And 3 weeks sounds like a long time, but it isn't really such a long time, and the truth is that I'm not the only one that has observed that time seems to go faster during this period of social isolation. And I think that's because many of us have established routines centered around blocks of time which make up our day, and that routine helps the time go by. I was thinking that there were two phenomena that I wanted to talk about related to this experience of what, for lack of a better word, is called the lockdown. And a lockdown seems to be a pretty good word or term for the sheltering in place and self-isolation and so forth, because it sort of implies that, you know, we can't break the guidelines without consequence. Not that we're going to get arrested, but it's sort of a house arrest, I guess you might say. And when I went to the grocery store, I think I might have mentioned, it was the first time that I'd gone there and didn't get some pleasure from just being out of the house and being around people and a kind of island of normalcy. That had changed, and when I had gone a couple of days ago, I would say that most of the people were wearing masks, as before maybe a third. This time maybe 3/4 of the people were wearing masks. And it was just more ominous, it was just more creepy, and unlike before where there was some pleasure to be shopping in a grocery store like all the times before, this time it didn't seem pleasurable. It was what I would call dysphoric. There was a sense of dysphoria. And so at this point in the lockdown, I've been going through a patch of real loneliness the last, probably this is the third day. No, the second day, because on Friday I went out to my friend's house, which I told you about. But yesterday and today I didn't see anybody except passers-by on the street during my walk, or just neighbors in the apartment complex that I live in. And I felt like not calling people just to talk. I wanted people to call me. And I guess one of my best friends did call me, and that was nice. And this morning, my mother called, and whenever I see her name on the phone, I feel like that it would be so sad not to answer the phone. As a matter of fact, my whole psychotherapy business, which started in 2010, and I just sort of closed shop again last month, but when it began, the very first call for a patient to do psychotherapy with was a California number or a Los Angeles number, and I thought, oh, it might be my mother, you know, and I was thinking, I was taking a nap at the time when the phone rang, and I was thinking, I can't not answer my mother calling. So I answered it, and it was a treatment center in Malibu who had a resident that was returning to their home in Tennessee and needed a therapist as part of their aftercare plan, and I was chosen based on my profile on the Psychology Today website and directory, and that's how that started. So when my mother calls, I answer the phone, and then when she says, well, you want to talk to Dad? And I said, well, was he there? And yes, he's right there. And so I kind of didn't have a choice, even though I was pretty tired, let's put it that way. And but I took the phone and I had a long conversation with him, as I did with my mother, and it felt good to be connected. And the two phenomena which I noticed was that the daily coronavirus task force, which is held usually about 4 o'clock each afternoon, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays, I had grown accustomed, it was part of my routine, to watch them every day, even though they were quite long, sometimes two or 2.5 hours. But for some reason, the last couple days, I lost interest. Now, they didn't have one yesterday, and I don't know if they're going to have one today because it's Easter, so my loss of interest is sort of irrelevant right now to whether or not I watch it. But even when I'm watching them, it seems rather dull and tedious, but I feel like I need to watch them for whatever reason, to be informed, if you consider that a good source of information, which I do, because I think Dr. Anthony Fauci is the real star and the one that people can trust. And when it comes to opening the country back, I'm sure that he and his colleagues will have a lot to say in the matter, and that hopefully the president will heed their advice and draw that balance between continued mitigation and so-called opening of the country. So we'll have to see day by day. I hope you have a good Easter, and I will talk to you tomorrow when it'll be day 13 of 30 days to slow the spread. Until then, this is John Hoffs. Have a good rest of the day.